Hello everyone, it's Maki. Let's dive back into analyzing the themes of the Seed series. Last time, we discussed the theme of Seed, the first anime in the series. We analyzed the story based on the theme presented by scriptwriter Chiaki Morosawa. Today, we are going to explore the theme of Seed Destiny. How does it differ from Seed? Which elements were carried over? I'm sure we'll make some new discoveries. Before we dive into the main topic, I have a quick announcement. My channel accepts support through memberships. For 99 cents a month, you can get a name badge and a comment stamp. Now, let's begin the analysis. Last time, I discussed how story's theme can be interpreted differently by different staff members. Even when working from Ms. Morosawa's theme, each staff member has their own slightly different viewpoint. Before we analyze the story of Seed Destiny, let's briefly discuss how the director Mr. Mitsuo Fukuda interprets it. In an interview included in the Seed Destiny Blu-ray box set, Fukuda said the following. In Seed, we said that war is wrong. We depicted breaking away from the dangers of relying on categories. The anti-war theme is discussed not only in fiction, but also in many areas of the real world. Seed also embraces anti-war as one of its themes. This, too, is rooted in the theme Ms. Morosawa spoke about. Someday, humanity will understand one another. But don't waste time doing nothing just because you cling to that ideal. We discussed this idea in the last video. It's important to take action yourself to understand others. If you refuse to do so, humanity will eventually make mistakes. While Cruise also talks about this in the climax of the story. One of the themes that Mr. Fukuda kept in mind while creating Seed was we must not fight. Now try to recall more from last time. If you do start to see what kind of theme Seed Destiny was based on. The relationship between the original 0079 and Seed is key. Mr. Fukuda explains the theme of Seed Destiny in the Blu-ray box interview. This is a continuation of the words I mentioned earlier, do not fight. He said, is that statement really true? Is fighting wrong in every possible situation? Is power truly unnecessary? I want viewers to think about these questions as if they apply to them personally. That is the central theme of Destiny. It's the same as presenting a theme that casts doubt on the words of Athrun in the original 0079. Destiny casts doubt on the themes presented in Seed. This theme is repeated several times by the characters in the beginning of the story. Gilbert Journal says, I want to avoid war, if at all possible. But that doesn't mean we can allow ourselves to be destroyed without fighting back. Shinosuka expresses a similar idea. I agree that making an effort not to fight is important. But when there is a real threat, we don't have a choice. If we refuse to fight when the time comes, we won't be able to protect anything, not even ourselves. Uzumi Nara also leaves behind this message. Power is nothing more than power. Seeking it excessively is foolish. Trying to shun it blindly is also foolish. If you need a soul to protect others, and it is in your hands right now, then take it. Destiny is a story that questions the theme presented in Seed and explores an opposing viewpoint. This journey is difficult and often creates confusion. This is precisely why Athrun struggles throughout the story. Let's look at what he says in episode 45. It's difficult. Are we not supposed to fight? Or are we supposed to fight? He makes this statement because he is caught between two themes, seed and destiny. Some people offer answers to the lost Athrun. Those people are the heroines. First, let's focus on Cal-re-A as her words. Orb desires peace above all else. However, peace must be built on the foundation of freedom and independence. We cannot choose submission or subjugation. As someone who guides Athrun, we can't forget about Lois Klein either. She offers her own answer as well. All life fights to secure its future. It is right to fight. That is why we must fight as well. Reviewing the theme of seed destiny like this allows us to gain a deeper understanding of the story and make new discoveries. So, who was the final enemy in this story? Was it Shin, the pirate of the Destiny Gundam? Or was it Rei, the pirate of the Legend Gundam? Of course, everyone is free to interpret it however they wish. Personally, I interpreted it as the final enemy of Seed Destiny is Gilbert Duranel. Many fans also recognize Duranel as the final enemy because he tries to forcibly enforce the Destiny plan, standing in the way of Kira and the others. However, once we understand the story's theme, we can view Duranel from a new perspective. The Destiny plan was presented as the final method to free humanity from the cycle of war. Duranel demanded that all of humanity must not fight. That's right. He appears before Kira and the others as the embodiment of the theme of Seed itself. Finally, let's consider Kira's words. I'm ready. I will fight. This is the theme of Seed Destiny. Depending on your interpretation, you could also say that this theme inherits the theme of Seed. Let's review Seed's original theme one more time. Someday, humanity will understand one another. But don't waste time doing nothing just because you cling to that ideal. Doesn't this theme seem to say even if you think you've reached a conclusion, you must never stop thinking, acting, and making an effort? Of course, don't forget that this includes my personal interpretation. When you look at it from this angle, though you can interpret it as Destiny questions C's theme and seems to argue the opposite, yet at its core, it is built on the same underlying idea. Rewatching the story with this perspective or imagining what future Seed stories might explore can make for an even richer experience. I plan to continue studying the Seed series in the future as well. Thank you so much for watching until the end. See you in the next episode.